Hi, East African Social Television. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the East African Social with me, Juliana. There's a new song that is making trends. Wajinga, Nyinyi. Yes, you fools. This is what Kaka is saying. And of course, he's going ahead to explain 10 things that have actually been addressed in his latest song. My name is Juliana. You're doing a great thing by tuning into the East African Social Television. Just stick around. I'm coming back with the full details of that story in a jiffy. Thank you guys for sticking around. Now, there is this King Kaka song which is actually making trends on social. Kenyan hip-hop maestro King Kaka, real name Kennedy Ombima, has been a trending topic online for 2 days now, owing his latest release, Wajinga Nyinyi. The wordsmith in Wajinga Nyinyi takes on social ills brought about by the ruling political class in a manner unlike any other seen before in the creative space. Now, speaking to media, sisi ni vipoa na vizui, he goes ahead to explain why he actually outed such a song. King Kaka's seemingly hits out at politicians who have already hit the ground running in preparation for the 2022 presidential race. Now, despite the fact that it is still 2 years too early, he presumably alludes to the fact that instead of fulfilling promises from the manifestos under which they were elected, a section of politicians are only interested in being elected again and again and again, staying in power forever. Is it something that happens in the whole of East Africa or Africa? I think it does. If you go looking at the trends of our presidents, most of us are being ruled by some very, very old presidents who have been here for what, 20, 30 years plus? That is what it is. Now, the country is most certainly always divided along tribal lines during the election period, hence the now infamous Mutuwetu phrase. What this division does is that it creates a certain kind of enmity that turns even neighbors into foes and friends into rivals. Hence, each side votes for the candidate from their own tribes, regardless of whether or not they are actually qualified for the job and have the interests of citizens at heart. The current education system has been faulted by many for focusing on papers rather than actual skills, hence leaving most graduates in the country jobless after school, since they do not have the technical know-how required in the real job market. King Kaka seemingly wonders why this could be the reason most politicians send their children to study overseas, because they themselves do not believe in the very system they elected. That is his number 3. Number 4, on what he addresses in his song, in 2015, at least 791 million Kenyan shillings was said to have been misappropriated at the Ministry of Devaluation and Planning through fraud transactions in the National Youth Service, that is NYS. Now, the ministry, according to documents in the public domain, procured 18 male and female condom dispensers at a cost of about 450,000 Kenyan shillings, which translates to 25,000 each, and 20 ball point pens at about 174,000 Kenyan shillings, which translates to about 8,700. There's actually the same thing happened somewhere in Uganda, where a Bank of Uganda procured ball pens amounting to billions of shillings. So these are things that actually affect the whole Africa as a continent. The then devolution cabinet secretary later stepped down, sought a political seat, and is presentedly a sitting governor. Number 5, he's addressing betting. The state of joblessness in the country at the moment has driven a large number of youth towards betting and gambling. Now, King Kaka uses this fact to criticize the government for not providing the youth with enough opportunities. And then straight to number 6, he says church donations. Politicians have in the recent past taken to the pulpit to donate millions of shillings. The wordsmith point out the irony of Kenyan citizens cheering them on, while those donations could very well be from their citizens' own pockets in terms of taxes. He also castigates pastors and preachers for condoning and celebrating this habit. Number 7, what he mentions in his song, White Collar Crime. King Kaka alludes to the fact that very few politicians accused of swindling public funds in their millions, otherwise known as white-collar crime, are very rarely ever found guilty and jailed, while petty offenders such as chicken thieves are slapped with hefty jail terms. This actually just reminded me of what is going on in the life of Governor Sonko. We all know that Governor Sonko was actually imprisoned, but no sooner had he gotten there than he was given, is it a sick leave or sick bail, to get out and get medical attention, like as if there are no other prisoners who are also suffering from the same diseases that he has in these cells. Kaka on number 8 says government appointments. This is another thing he is gone out to outline in the song. The president has on numerous occasions been criticized for appointing old guards to government positions instead of qualified youth. King Kaka throws at a jab at this, since youth employment is practically the main thing on the manifesto, under which the head of state actually rode on during campaign. Let's go to number 9. He says Higher Education Loans Board. Last month, it's actually abbreviated HELB, H-E-L-B. Last month sparked many reactions after announcing that they would publish photos and names of at least 85,000 Kenyans who have failed to service a loan of about 50 billion Kenyan shillings issued since 1975. Now, King Kaka finds it laughable at the government would write off loans in their billions advanced to Kenyan Airways, sugar factories and farmers, but punish unemployed youth just because they went to school and somehow failed to clear their loans. Number 10, Miguna deportation. What are we really doing as a country? Kenyan Canadian lawyer and self-declared General Mijuna was on the night of February 6th deported after he administered the oath to opposition leader Raila Odinga when he was sworn in as the people's president on January 30th, 2018. He returned to Kenya in late March 2018 but was denied entry at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport before being bundled into an Emirates flight EK722 to Dubai. King Kaka presumably questions the actions by the government to continuously deny Mijuna entry into the country despite securing a court order. Do you agree with those 10 things King Kaka has addressed in his latest hit? If you do, well and good. If you don't, you can go right ahead in the comment section and oppose all his statements. And if you have an addition of a contribution that he has said only 10 and you think there are more other things like hospitals, not having enough medication, doctors being underpaid and things like that, if you have anything else to add on what is going on in East Africa or in Kenya to be precise, you can go ahead and check the conversation in the comment section. My name is Juliana. Today we are trying out something different. You can give us feedback and you tell us what sounds better. The microphones that are always worn or this one where I just have to lift. You can tell us in the comment section what you prefer, what gives you better sound. My name is Juliana. Do subscribe if it's your first time to find us, and also don't forget to touch the notification bell. I'll definitely be back with more stories about your East African celebrities. Shit.